everyone, my name is Josh and welcome to WHIMS. And today I have the third chapter, but it's mostly, a continuous story that I'm pretty much telling monthly. It's through monthly installments of my story in parts, Angel Dust. And in this chapter, we're returning to Simon Parker Smith and his mother. They're having breakfast. And after the second chapter, we pretty much get confirmation of what Simon is like when he's in his day-to-day life. He lives with his mum and dad. He's in his 20s. He's still living at home. And he wants to kind of pursue a life that he really wants. And this is basically an introduction to that. So I hope you enjoy. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, please subscribe for more. And I hope you enjoy the video, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments and what you think of the story so far. Are you enjoying it? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know. And this is chapter 3 of Angel Dust. Please enjoy. And subscribe for more if you're interested in more content that I produce for this channel, and hope you enjoy. So, the conversation has just started. This is basically Simon's mum, June, talking. I saw your friend last night. Want to tell me what's the story there, Morning Glory? June Parker Smith asked, a mug of tea poised close to her mouth. What do you mean, friend, Mum? Simon returned, the words of his question slightly muffled through a mouthful of bacon and toast. You know what I mean, Si. I notice things in this house. All I'm saying is a man with large shoulders was seen leaving your room, and all I want to say is... Mum, please... I'm not going to have this conversation with you right now, Simon replied. His throat cleared, but his face was rosier than the rashers of bacon before they were plunged into the pan for frying. It's all right, sweetheart. There's nothing to be ashamed of. All I want you to know is if you're, entertaining anyone, let me know first so I can make myself scarce in future, okay? Oh my God, Simon said under his breath. June's eyes then grew wide, lightly tapping her son's knuckles as he loosened his half-clenched hand. Hey, don't go taking the Lord's name in vain, sunshine. You're not too old to go over my knee, young man. I know, Mum, it's just embarrassing when I have to tell you these things. Well, all I'll say to you, Simon, is it wouldn't be embarrassing if you let me know what you're doing with your companions. June made a revolving gesture with her forefinger as she stumbled on the word with a decidedly more whispered tone of voice, not looking to offend her son in any way. I would have done, Mum. Simon wanted to say more, but the act of mopping up the remains of his breakfast with his last slice of toast and his mouth becoming occupied with chewing made it a challenge to find a retort. Sorry, he said finally, his voice slightly muffled. It's okay, darling, take your time, June said, her hands giving more attention in the way of keeping her mug of tea level as she waited for her son to finish. We were in a bit of a compromising position, truth be told. Were you drinking? Not a lot, no, Simon replied, the colour of his face resuming the uncomfortable pink of undercooked spam. He was carrying me into the house, and... Simon paused as his aggressive heart rate returned to a steady rhythm. And... June returned, hoping her son wouldn't leave her in suspense to anything sordid if it came to it. And we didn't want to disturb you, Simon ended. His throat cleared, his whistle wetted, and plenty of room for seconds if he wanted it. Granted, he was just glad he was able to tell his mother something, anything, to avoid further queries. So, who is this valiant gentleman who carried you home? His name is Dennis, Simon replied, with a pause between each word, clearly enjoying the theatrics of relaying his story to his mum. Dennis Wakefield. The surname Wakefield was hanging on the tip of his tongue. For a moment he felt guilty. It has been ages since they last saw each other. Maybe I should give him a ring when we've cleared the table. No, let's make him wait. I'm tired of being the chaser for the remainder of this in-the-making-of exchange. And did the two of you do anything? June asked, her voice light and airy as she worded the question. Mum, I swear to God we never... Swear to me, then? The sharpness of his mother's response shook him somewhat, but he quickly regained his confidence and said, Mum, I swear to you, we didn't do anything. Dennis put me to bed, and he just slept on the floor. He used my sleepover bag in the wardrobe. After voicing this, on any other occasion Simon would have become overwhelmed with guilt for his lack of truthfulness, but this time he could rest easy, knowing his conscience was cleared, and he could repent for the past. Glad you told me the truth, June said finally, leaning forward to kiss her son on the cheek. Is this lad, this Dennis chap, is he disabled or able-bodied? Able-bodied, Simon returned, quick as a flash. June had read a speech about how she wanted to know why he only pursued able-bodied men instead of anyone in a wheelchair, and she assumed it was down to shame, but he would say it was more for practical reasons. There was more practical reasons why. June thought it was all due to him wanting a caregiver for a lover and not a lover first, if nothing else. This would make Simon red with frustration, downgrading into a row before June's defence could be made proper. June spared Simon the overly familiar conversation. Your dad and I worry about you, Si, June said after a moment. Of course you do, Simon took his mother's hand in his own. Because you've all we got now, and if anything happens to you, we're going to go all Old Testament on any lad who hurts you on penalty of death or confinement, you understand? Definitely understand, I just don't want you to make anything you might regret. June paused, readying for another conversation June swore she wouldn't return to unless it was called for. Simon, when I had you... Mum, please, you don't have to. Simon interrupted, hoping in vain that he would at least stand a fighting chance with this well prepared for, yet still uncomfortable crossing of words. When I had you, June said with finality, it changed my life in so many ways. All things for the better. But my parents didn't see it that way. Simon felt his heart rate climbing as his grip on his mother's hand grew tighter. They said I was throwing my life away because they always told me there was no room for second chances, but I told them there was no room for what-ifs. I looked them in the eye and I told them this was my choice. The eyes of mother and son met. Simon's eyes were glistening and red-rimmed with the struggle to keep the tears from flowing, and all his mother did was smile back. She repeated the words, "This was my choice," stabbing a finger into her own chest as she readied her sleeve to wipe her eyes with. I told myself I was happy to say I wanted to be with the man I love if it meant changing everything I knew, my family, and you know what my mum and dad told me? June left the question hanging in the air, even though they both knew the truth. They told me to leave and never come back, and, admittedly at first, it scared me. My first night away from home, I was alone with your father, hard at work at the job centre, and no one friendly to give me comfort. I made a bed on the floor in the corner of the room, and I cried, thinking I made the biggest mistake of my life. June took a moment to dab her eyelids with the end of her sleeves. Now, though, Simon's mother uttered, her blurred vision has now been lifted, now that her blurred vision was lifted. Now, though, when I think about my parents telling me to leave and never come back, I wouldn't have it any other way. Because a better career and good degrees would have given me something, a house, stability, but it wouldn't have given me you. Because if I went down the proper road, I knew somewhere along the line I would have gotten stuck. And that's something I don't want to happen to you, Simon. I won't get stuck, Mum, Simon said after a moment. Simon saw things clearly now as he swallowed and made himself sniff back the sadness, wiping his eyes with a tissue. I believe you. Just trust me. But that doesn't stop me from worrying, though, Simon. And if I do, I'll just get unstuck like you did the day you had me. I love you, Simon, June returned with a sniffle. I love you too, Mum. Just then, Simon's phone vibrated in his pocket. He looked and was delighted to see the caller ID was Dennis Wakefield. Oh, speak of the devil, eh? June said, amused. Simon didn't need to play pretend at showing brightness in his voice when he answered the phone. Hey, Dennis, how are you? Simon inhaled sharply, the residue of emotion still visible with a smile. I'm good. You okay? It sounds as if you've been crying, Dennis answered, his voice grainy and distant on the other end of the line. I'm good. Oh, it's nothing. My mum and I were just bonding. What are you up to? Just on my way home. Had a busy shift and got through a ton of paperwork to sort through. No rest of the wicked, eh? Oh, sorry to hear that, Dennis. Do you want me to leave you to it? Get some sleep? Nah, you're all right. I can sleep when I'm dead. I'm off now until next month, taking my annual leave, so I'm a free agent, in a manner of speaking. That's great, Dennis. Listen, do you want to go out with me tonight? Tomorrow night? I was thinking about dinner and a movie. That's if you fancy it. Of course. Sorry. Of course. What time do you want to do it? I'll check the trains. 8:30ish sound good? Simon played at considering his options carefully, though he knew he was making it up out of the blue. Brill. See you at 8:30. Bye. Get some sleep, okay? Cheers. See ya. Simon hung up the phone. The headaches and the dream which bore them seemed a distant memory as he went to grab his walking frame before heading to his room. Love you, Mum. Got to plan the next few days. What do you have planned? June raised her voice slightly to be heard over the distant cluttering of her son's walking frame in motion and the rattling of doors spring open with the turning of a handle. Denny arriving, dinner and a movie. When can we meet this Denny chap then? When we're both ready and comfortable. All right, love. Have a good time tonight. Be safe and let me know when you're coming home, please. Love you, Mum. Love you too, Si. June found the joy in this development of Simon's love life as she gulped down the last of her breakfast tea. Simon retreated into his downstairs walk-in shower room, which was adjacent to his bedroom. Brown rug carpeting gave way to rubbery material flooring, which was the texture of bubble wrap on bare feet when he crossed over. He was half naked and braced himself with the sharp intake of breath as he opened the door. His own shower room was liable to cold draughts upon entry. Simon laughed to himself. Liable, in this instance, is a shorthand way of saying that come rain or shine during the most cold of winters or outright stifling of summers, the shower room always held the room temperature akin to a block of ice. Although, compared to how he was feeling previously, lightheaded and at risk of fainting due to a dream where he came over all aflame, the cold temperature presented a welcome relief to his senses. I think I'll have a cold shower after all. Simon, when he turned the power on and readied his fold-away chair to seat himself for his cleansing, he closed his eyes and let the water embrace him. So that's my third chapter of Angel Dust, and I hope you enjoyed this instalment. And let me know what you think of this story so far. Are you enjoying it? Do you like Simon as a character, or are you kind of a bit on the fence at the minute? And are you excited to see where this story goes? Let me know. This has been Josh with Whimsical Industry Musings. I hope you're all doing very well. Take care. Bye for now.